The easy way usually makes food worse and costs more. Today, 33 dumb cooking shortcuts that backfire. And you've probably done a few. Like rinsing pasta so the sauce slides right off, or blasting bacon on high until it smokes. I'll show you the quick fixes that quietly ruin flavor, texture, and your wallet. Stay for number 33, because that one turns dinner into a real disaster. Microwaving metal sparks myth. The microwave turned into a spark show, then smoke. In a Chicago dorm kitchen, Alex rushed late-night leftovers. He forgot a metal fork, thinking shortcuts always beat caution. Seconds later, blue arc snapped between tines and ceramic bowl. The light inside flickered, and the turntable jittered like panic. His roommate Maya slammed stop, but the buzzing kept escalating. An alarm shrieked, and hallways filled with burnt plastic smell. Facility staff arrived, staring at scorch marks on the ceiling. Alex learned speed is useless when dinner becomes an incident. 2. Washing mushrooms ruins them myth. Her sauteed mushrooms turned gray, and she blamed the rinse. In Seattle, Priya cooked creminis for a quick weeknight stroganoff. She dunked them in a bowl, then answered a long call. 10 minutes later, the caps felt heavy and oddly waterlogged. She hit the skillet, and steam hissed like a leaky kettle. Instead of browning, they simmered, shrinking into pale, rubbery coins. Her friend Louise pointed out soaking, not rinsing, caused trouble. They spun a second batch dry, and the pan finally seared. Priya laughed, realizing the shortcut was the unattended bath. 3. Rinsing pasta after cooking. The sauce slid off the noodles, pooling like red soup. In Brooklyn on Sunday, Jordan cooked spaghetti for 4 friends. He drained it fast, then rinsed under cold water, proudly. The steam disappeared, and the pasta cooled into slippery strands. He poured marinara, but it clung to the pot, not pasta. Everyone twirled forks, watching sauce drip back onto plates. Jordan added more cheese, thinking it would fix everything. His Auntie Lena explained starch is the sauce's natural glue. By the second batch, nobody rinsed, and the room went quiet. 4. Oil and pasta water. The pasta still stuck together, and the floor got dangerously slick. In Austin, Nicole cooked fettuccine while hosting game night. She poured olive oil into boiling water, like her dad taught. The oil floated in shimmering circles, never mixing into water. When she drained the pot, a greasy film coated everything. Her friend Sam grabbed the colander, then nearly lost his grip. Back in the bowl, noodles slid past sauce like tiny skaters. Nicole watched clumps form anyway, because stirring was skipped. She cleaned oil splatters, wishing she'd used a spoon instead. 5. Cranking heat to boil faster. The pot boiled over, and the stovetop turned into glue. In Phoenix, Marcus tried rushing rice before a work call. He blasted the burner, watching bubbles rise like a storm. Then he looked away, because his phone started buzzing non-stop. Foam climbed, spilled, and extinguished the flame with a hiss. On electric coils, it burned into a crusty caramel ring. Marcus scraped for minutes, while the rice stayed half crunchy. His neighbor Tasha joked the shortcut created 2 extra chores. By the time guests arrived, dinner smelled like scorched starch. 6. Cooking bacon on high heat. The kitchen filled with smoke, and the alarm stole breakfast. In Nashville, Erin fried bacon fast before her kids woke. She cranked the heat, chasing crisp edges in record time. Fat rendered suddenly, popping like fireworks across the skillet. A hot droplet tagged her wrist, and she jerked back hard. Strips curled, blackened at tips, yet stayed floppy in centers. She opened windows, waving a towel like a desperate flag. Her brother Cole suggested lower heat, steady sizzling, and patience. Aaron restarted, and the second batch actually tasted like bacon. 7. Flipping steak constantly. The steak looked cooked, but it tasted oddly steamed and sad. In Dallas, Ben tried impressing his date with ribeye. He hovered over the cast iron pan, flipping every few seconds. Each flip broke the forming crust like scraping wet paint. Juices seeped, then sizzled away before any deep browning developed. Ben kept poking, chasing perfect doneness by pure anxiety. When he finally sliced, the center was uneven, edge to edge. His date, Mia, suggested leaving it alone, like a campfire story. Ben realized his shortcut was nervous energy, not real technique. 8. Pressing burgers flat while cooking. The burgers ended up dry, and the grill flared like anger. In Milwaukee, Darnell grilled for a summer birthday cookout. He pressed patties hard, chasing faster cooking and crisp edges. Juice poured out, sizzling on coals in sudden orange bursts. Smoke rose and the outside browned before the inside caught up. Darnell flipped quickly, then pressed again, making thin hockey pucks. Kids added ketchup fast, trying to rescue every bite. His Uncle Ray said press only before cooking, not during. Next round stayed plump, and nobody needed a sauce lifeboat. 9. Skipping the preheat. The cookies spread into one giant sheet, like edible asphalt. In Boston, Hannah baked chocolate chip cookies after midnight. She skipped preheating, sliding the tray into a cool oven. The butter melted slowly, leaking outward before the dough set. Edges browned early, while centers stayed pale and doughy. Hannah rotated the tray, but the temperature still climbed unevenly. When friends arrived, the cookies snapped at corners, gooey inside. Her dad joked the oven needed a runway, not a shove. Next batch waited for the beat and looked like real cookies. 10. Just eyeballing baking powder. The cake rose like a balloon, then sank into a crater. In Denver, Chloe baked a birthday cake between two meetings. She eyeballed baking powder, shaking the can like seasoning. In the oven, the batter puffed fast, stretching the top. Then bubbles popped, and the center collapsed as steam escaped. Chloe frosted anyway, hoping sprinkles could hide the dip. One slice tasted metallic, and everyone noticed the strange tang. Her friend Omar pulled out teaspoons, treating baking like chemistry. Chloe measured next time, and the cake stayed proudly upright. 11. Swapping baking soda for baking powder. The pancakes tasted soapy, and the kitchen mood instantly changed. In Atlanta, Keisha made fluffy Sunday pancakes with buttermilk. She grabbed baking soda, thinking it was basically the same. The batter darkened slightly, then bubbled in strange, uneven patches. On the griddle, pancakes browned too fast and stayed dense. Keisha added syrup, but the aftertaste still lingered stubbornly. Her cousin Jaden checked labels, then laughed at the swap. He explained soda needs acid balance, while powder carries its own. Keisha restarted, and the second stack disappeared without any complaints. 12. Replacing butter with oil 1-to-1. The muffins looked shiny, then collapsed into greasy little bricks. In San Diego, Leo swapped butter for oil to save time. He poured oil straight into batter, skipping softening and creaming. The mix turned slick, and sugar never trapped air properly. In the oven, tops rose briefly, then sank as steam escaped. Inside, the crumb felt heavy, like wet sand in a cup. Leo served them anyway, watching napkins soak through instantly. His friend Grace said, "Butter adds structure, not just fat." Leo learned substitutions work, but ratios aren't a guessing game. 13. Using margarine for faster melting. The cookies turned thin as lace, with crisp edges and regret. In Cleveland, Rosa rushed holiday baking before a snowstorm. She used margarine because it softened faster than butter. The dough felt wetter, and it clung to her spoon oddly. On the tray, scoops spread wide, merging into one giant puddle. Rosa watched bubbles form, then brown too fast around rims. When they cooled, center stayed soft, but flavor felt flat. Her sister Nina mentioned margarine's water changes how dough behaves. Rosa switched back, and her kitchen finally smelled like winter. 14. Over-mixing batter to make it smooth. The loaf looked perfect, but sliced like rubber instead of cake. In Portland, Ethan made banana bread for his cycling club. He beat the batter hard, chasing a glossy, lump-free finish. Flour and liquid met, and gluten strands tightened like elastic bands. In the oven, it rose, but the crumbs set dense and chewy. Ethan tapped the top, hearing a dull thud, not springy bounce. At the table, slices bent before they broke, oddly resilient. His friend Marisol said stop mixing once flour disappears, always. Ethan tried again, and the next loaf tore softly, like clouds. 15. Opening the oven to check. The soufflé deflated in seconds, like a punctured parade balloon. In New Orleans, Camille made cheese soufflés for an anniversary dinner. She kept opening the door, hoping to catch the perfect rise. Each peak dumped heat, and the oven fan sucked warm air out. Inside, the airy batter lost lift, then sank toward the ramekin rims. Camille whispered no, watching the tops wrinkle and darken unevenly. Her partner Andre set the table, unaware the drama was happening. When she served, the flavor stayed good, but the height was gone. Camille vowed to trust the timer, not her curiosity. 16. Broiling to finish faster. The top turned black, while the center stayed stubbornly lukewarm. In Los Angeles, Mateo reheated lasagna before friends arrived. Impatient, he slid the pan under the broiler for speed. Cheese blistered fast, bubbling like lava across the surface. Then the corner edges smoked, and a bitter smell filled air. Mateo pulled it out, but the middle still felt cool and firm. He cut a square, watching steam escape from only the crust. His friend Aisha suggested gentle oven heat, then broil briefly. Mateo learned the broiler is a spotlight, not a time machine. 17. Thawing meat on the counter. By dinner time, the steak smelled fine, but the risk wasn't. In Minneapolis, Jenna left frozen ground beef beside the sink. She thought room temperature would speed thawing before taco night. Hours passed, and the outer layer warmed while the center stayed icy. Jenna browned it, seeing gray edges cook before the middle loosened. Spices covered smells, which felt comforting but proved nothing. Her friend Dan mentioned food safety rules about the danger zone. Jenna tossed the batch, annoyed, then started over more carefully. That shortcut saved minutes, but could have cost a miserable night. 18. Thawing chicken in hot water. The chicken cooked unevenly, and everyone argued about safety. In Miami, Carlos dropped frozen chicken into hot tap water. He wanted fast fajitas, and the clock was already rude. Outside warmed quickly, turning soft while the center stayed stiff. When Carlos sliced, the knife met ice, then mushy outer meat. He pan-fried anyway, chasing browning while moisture kept pouring out. Steam filled the kitchen, and the chicken stayed pale and watery. His sister Lucia insisted slow thawing prevents that warm outer layer. Carlos sighed, realizing his shortcut created both risk and bad texture. 19. Cooking frozen steak without adjusting. The steak came out gray, with a wet surface and no crust. In Philadelphia, Ryan forgot to thaw his thick sirloin. He tossed it into a hot pan, hoping heat would solve everything. The outside released icy water, cooling the skillet like a splash. Instead of browning, the meat simmered in its own runoff. Ryan cranked heat higher, but smoke arrived before caramelization did. When he cut it, the center was cold pink, edges dry. His friend May said frozen cooking needs planning, not desperation. Brian ordered takeout, staring at the sad, steaming pan. 20. Skipping rest time for meat. Juice flooded the cutting board, and the roast instantly dried. In Kansas City, Brooke pulled a pork loin from the oven. Guests cheered, so she sliced immediately, chasing that hot reveal. The first cut released a river, pooling under the platter fast. Brooke kept carving, watching slices turn lighter and less glossy. On plates, meat tasted fine, but mouthfeel felt oddly cottony. Her dad Hank explained resting lets juices settle back inside. Brooke wished she'd paused, even with hungry eyes watching. 21. Cutting into chicken to check. The chicken looked done, but the plate filled with leaked juices. In Rowley, Simone cooked chicken breasts from meal prep bowls. She sliced one open early, trying to avoid undercooking stress. Simone flipped and cooked longer, but the split breast dried quickly. She checked again, making another cut, and moisture disappeared again. Her friend Gabe suggested a thermometer, so the chicken stays closed. Simone realized the shortcut was fear pretending to be precision. 22. Not using a meat thermometer. The roast was either too pink or too dry, never perfect. In Salt Lake City, Noah hosted Friendsgiving for the first time. He relied on timing charts and the poke test, confidently. After hours, he pulled the turkey because juices looked clear. At the table, the thigh felt underdone, and faces changed. Noah returned it to the oven, drawing the breast further. People ate politely, drowning slices in gravy like camouflage. His friend Kiara brought a thermometer next year, quietly saving dinner. Noah admitted one small tool beats 100 nervous guesses. 23. Cooking garlic like onions. The whole dish tasted better, like someone sprinkled burnt paper. In San Francisco, Leela started a pasta sauce in a hurry. She tossed minced garlic first, treating it like sturdy onions. Garlic browned in moments, then turned dark before tomatoes arrived. Leela added sauce anyway, hoping sweetness would cover the damage. But the burnt flavor spread through everything, louder with each bite. Her partner Chris asked why it tasted sharp and smoky. Leela learned garlic belongs later, when the pan is calmer. One rushed minute rewrote the flavor of the entire pot. 24. Using pre-minced jar, garlic for everything. The dinner smelled garlicky, yet tasted strangely flat and sour. In Orlando, Paige cooked shrimp scampi after a long shift. She spooned jarred, minced garlic, thinking it saved precious minutes. In the pan, it sizzled quietly, missing that sharp, fresh aroma. Butter foamed, lemon hit, yet the garlic never really popped. Paige added more, and the flavor turned harsh instead of bright. Her friend Vicente checked the label, noticing oils and preservatives. Fresh cloves took longer, but delivered a clean punch instantly. Paige kept the jar for emergencies, not for every dish. 25. Microwaving steak to reheat. The steak turned rubbery, and the office smelled like defeat. In a New Jersey break room, Tanya reheated last night's sirloin. She hit full power, chasing hot lunch in under a minute. Edges overcooked first, tightening into a chewy gray belt. Inside stayed cool, so Tanya kept blasting it in short bursts. Fat rendered unevenly, leaving puddles and dry patches together. Her coworker Mike offered a skillet method, but time was gone. Tanya ate anyway, wondering why it felt like chewing tire. That shortcut didn't warm steak, it aged it in seconds. 26. Reheating fries in the microwave. The fries went limp, like cardboard dipped in warm water. In Detroit, Malik brought home drive-thru fries for movie night. 10 minutes later, they were cold, so he microwaved them. steam trapped inside, turning crisp surfaces into soft, wet skins. Malik shook the plate, hoping movement would bring crunch back. Instead, fries stuck together, leaving pale smears on ceramic. His friend Jenna used the oven, and hers came out crisp. Malik compared bites, then stared at his soggy pile. He learned microwaves heat moisture, not the crunch everyone wants. 27. Reheating pizza wrong. The crust went chewy, and the cheese separated into greasy islands. In Queens, Sophia reheated 2 slices from last night's order. She microwaved them uncovered, multitasking while coffee brewed nearby. Heat hit the toppings first, bubbling pepperoni like tiny rafts. Meanwhile, the crust steamed, losing snap and turning oddly tough. Sophia bit in, and the slice folded like warm fabric. She tried again longer, but the middle got hotter, not better. Her neighbor Marco swore by gentler reheating that restores crispness. Sophia realized pizza has layers, and shortcuts punish the base. 28. Boiling eggs on full blast. The pot rattled, and eggs cracked like tapping stones together. In Omaha, Rachel boiled eggs for deviled eggs before kickoff. She kept the water at a roaring boil, thinking faster wins. Eggs bounced, smacking the pot walls with every violent bubble. One cracked, and whites streamed out, clouding the water. Rachel fished shells, annoyed, while the timer kept marching. Some eggs cooked unevenly, with gray rings near yolks. Her mom Dana lowered heat to a gentle simmer, immediately. Rachel watched calm water deliver better eggs, without the chaos. 29. Skipping ice bath for eggs. The shells welded on, and peeling became a slow, ugly fight. In Madison, Tyler made hard-boiled eggs for lunches all week. He drained them, then left them steaming in the pot. Minutes later, he cracked one, and the shell tore the white. Chunks came off, leaving craters like a bad lunar landing. Tyler peeled 3 more, growing angrier with each ruined egg. His roommate Aaron dropped the next batch into cold water immediately. Steam stopped, the whites tightened, and shells released far easier. Tyler learned cooling isn't fancy. It's the secret to peeling. 30. Baking potatoes without poking. A loud pop came from the oven, like a small firecracker. In Spokane, Jamie baked russet potatoes for a simple dinner. She washed them, oiled them, then tossed them in whole. Inside, steam built pressure under the skin as heat climbed. Halfway through, one potato split, spraying starch onto the rack. Jamie opened the door, shocked by the starchy snowstorm. The potato was still edible, but the cleanup was not. Her grandpa Walt said steam needs an escape route, always. Jamie remembered that sound, and never trusted silent skins again. 31. Cooking rice without rinsing. The rice turned gummy, clumping into a sticky mound on plates. In Honolulu, Nia cooked jasmine rice to pair with teriyaki chicken. She skipped rinsing, thinking that step was just extra work. As water heated, loose starch clouded everything like white fog. Boiling stirred it, and foam rose, threatening another spillover. When it finished, grains stuck together, more like paste than rice. Nia fluffed harder, breaking clumps into smaller clumps instead. Her Aunt Keiko rinsed the next batch until water ran clear. The difference felt huge, like switching from glue to snow. 32. Lifting the rice lid to peek. The rice finished uneven, with crunchy patches hiding underneath. In Sacramento, Vince cooked rice while chatting on FaceTime. Every few minutes, he lifted the lid, checking like a referee. Each peak released steam, dropping heat and drying the top layer. Water level changed, and the pot stopped cooking evenly. Vince stirred, which broke grains and made the surface gluey. When he served, some bites were soft, others stubbornly hard. His friend Amina said rice needs quiet time, like a nap. Vince finally left the lid alone, and the pot behaved. 33. Adding sauce early to beans. The beans stayed hard even after hours of simmering chili. In Santa Fe, Isabel cooked pinto beans for a big potluck. She added crushed tomatoes early, wanting deep flavor from the start. The broth turned bright, but the bean skins stayed stubbornly firm. Isabel kept simmering, watching liquid thicken, while beans refused softness. Guests arrived, and she kept tasting, hoping time would save it. Instead, the beans felt chalky, like undercooked pebbles in sauce. Her neighbor Miguel explained acidic sauce can slow beans from tenderizing. Isabel adjusted next time, and the same recipe finally melted properly. Salt too early on beans. The pot tasted salty early, then the beans turned oddly chewy. In Baton Rouge, Trey cooked red beans for Monday night dinner. He salted aggressively at the start, wanting flavor to soak in. Halfway through, the broth tasted too strong, so he diluted it. More water meant more boiling, and the beans took a beating. Trey stirred constantly, breaking skins and thickening liquid like paste. By serving time, some beans were split, others still firm. His grandma even said season gently early, then adjust near finish. Trey realized rushing flavor made him overcorrect and overcook everything. Cooking pasta too far ahead. The pasta fused into one clumpy mass, like a starch sculpture. In Richmond, Kelsey prepped mac and cheese for a family reunion. She boiled elbows early, then drained them and walked away. Heat faded, and surface starch glued noodles together in minutes. Kelsey returned, finding a solid mound stuck to the colander. She tried stirring in cheese sauce, but clumps stayed stubborn. People served themselves, pulling strings of glued pasta like taffy. Her cousin Joel said keep pasta in sauce, or time it closer. Kelsey learned early cooking doesn't save time, it makes a block. Using dull knives to go faster. The knife slipped, and the cutting board suddenly felt dangerous. In Indianapolis, Megan chopped onions quickly for chili night. Her old chef's knife was dull, so she pressed harder. The blade skated on onion skin, then lurched toward her fingers. Megan froze, feeling her heartbeat jump into her throat. She switched to sawing motions, which tore onions and sprayed juice. Tears came fast, and the pile looked ragged and uneven. Her friend Calvin sharpened the knife, and slicing became smooth again. Megan realized dull tools don't save time, they steal control. Using a glass dish under broiler. There was a sharp crack, then glass rained onto the oven floor. In San Jose, Daniel tried browning casserole topping under the broiler. Heat hit the surface fast, while the thicker base lagged behind. Stress built, and the dish snapped with a sound like ice breaking. Daniel yanked the door open, seeing shards glitter beside bubbling sauce. Dinner was done, but cleanup turned into a careful, tense hour. His neighbor Priya explained broilers are brutal, like a blowtorch overhead. Daniel switched to metal pans, grateful the mess wasn't worse.